This morning I'd like to talk to you about ascites. What's ascites? It's a part of cancer. It's fluid in the tummy. And when I recommenced chemotherapy last December and I was sitting in the chair, my stomach was like it was 9 months pregnant. It was absolutely revolting. And the nurse just said, well, that's just part of the cancer, and the chemotherapy could help get rid of it. But if it gets any worse over Christmas, just take yourself off to emergency and get it drained. And she said, once you start getting it drained, you're going to have it drained regularly. And I thought, oh man, that's another surgical, incision procedure, rave. And I was really, really reluctant. But I tell you what, being 9 months pregnant or feeling like 9 months pregnant when you're 69 was revolting. And I've always had a flat stomach, apart from being pregnant. And every time you bend over, you'd have to spread your legs to bend over, and it was just absolutely revolting. Anyway, I'm not sure what I did. Was it mindset? I listened to Louise Hayes and just happened to come across something about loving your body. And by this time I was getting really ticked off with my stomach for looking the way it was and not thinking very nice thoughts about it. And she said, that's the wrong thing to be doing. You need to be praising your whatever part of your body is out of whack, and being grateful for whatever it is you can be grateful for. So I started that, and not only was it looking like 9 months pregnant, but there was at least 3 bulbous on the side, tumors, cancers, which I originally had thought were scar tissue from the biopsies and the major operation that I had. And went along all of last year just thinking, oh well, this is scar tissue, which it wasn't. It was cancer. And then I did an interview just recently with a woman who's, oh my gosh, you really need to listen to her interview on Extraordinary Ordinary Women, because she is just phenomenal with her strength and her courage. Anyway, I did an interview with her, and we were talking about, obviously, people who go their first time on the camera are really anxious about how they look. And I said, yes, well, I was really concerned about all my wrinkles, but now I don't care. This is who I am. Wrinkles, hair doing its own thing. This is me on the farm, and this is just me. And she said, oh my gosh, what would I give to have my wrinkles back? She said, with my cancer and the ascites, I have put on, and I can't remember what astronomical amount of weight she said she'd put on, but her face was puffed up like a balloon. It was smooth. There was not a wrinkle there. And she said, I've just put on so much weight with the fluid, and I have it drained, and it just comes back, that I am now curtailed in a wheelchair. And I thought, man, thank you, wrinkles. I am so pleased to have wrinkles. So yes, that's ascites. And as I said, apart from the mindset and perhaps the really strict diet, because this was over Christmas and I really did not indulge over Christmas. And yeah, what else I did? Perhaps it was the chemotherapy kicking in. Perhaps also it was the beginning of the ivermectin. Who knows? I really cannot tell you. All I know is that each person's journey is different, and we each do things that we believe and have faith in to improve our health. Anyway, that's ascites, and my tummy is now probably 3 months pregnant size, and I just give praise to it every morning and every night. I do the mindset. I say thank you for my healthy blood coursing through my body. Close my eyes, visualize my blood going through my body, And then I say thank you to chemotherapy, ivermectin, and now fenbendazole, and the immunotherapy, and the castor oil that I rub over my tummy each night and each morning. And I visualize these little cells eating, gobbling up the cancer cells and stuffing them into the garbage bin, and out they come through my bodily exits. So who knows, but that's another interesting part that some of us get with the cancer. All right, God bless. Bye.